We find the story of the announcement of the birth of Jesus to young Mary in Luke's Gospel. It's in Luke chapter 1, verse 26. In the 6th month, God sent the angel Gabriel to Nazareth, a town in Galilee, to a virgin pledged to be married to a man named Joseph, a descendant of David. The virgin's name was Mary. The angel went to her and said, "Greetings, you who are highly favored. The Lord is with you." Mary was greatly troubled at his words and wondered what kind of greeting this might be. But the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary. You found favor with God. You'll be with child and give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus." This must have been completely bewildering for Mary. And in verse 34 she says, "How will this be, since I am a virgin?" This young woman, sources outside of the Bible suggest that she might have been just 12 or 14 years of age at the time. It was quite common in those days to be betrothed, a form of engagement, around the age of 12. And here she is living in a real backwater, nowhere town of Nazareth. The place was really quite despised. In John's Gospel, chapter 1, we hear a man called Nathanael say, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" So here she is, a young woman, probably illiterate because education was not freely available in those days to women of her class. Here she is being told that she's been chosen for the greatest mission in the history of the universe, and she's got questions. I think during these days in which we've been living, we've had lots of questions. Where is God? Why is all this happening? What's the future look like? Where's God's care in all of this? But I think it's important for us to know that faith and questions go together. And it's understandable that Mary would have questions because what was being announced was completely humanly impossible for a virgin to give birth. But with God, all things are possible. And then there's a really poignant moment in this story where we read that the angel left her. Now imagine that. She's sitting there perhaps thinking, did I imagine that? Was that some kind of dream? And now there's no comforting words of the angel to sustain her. There's the potential of scandal as well, as an unmarried woman is going to rather obviously show signs of being pregnant. And then she has some explaining to do with her fiancé, Joseph. She's got questions. But in this episode, she also submits in trust to God. "I am the Lord's servant," she says. The word is handmaid or slave girl. She has questions, but she submits and she trusts God. Faith doesn't mean that we won't have questions. I began my Christian life many years ago with lots of questions, and I still have many today, decades later. Faith and questions go together, but in the midst of our questions, we can, with God's help, trust him, respond to him, submit to him.